This is the Apache Lucene 2.9 technical webinar put on by Lucid Imagination. My name is Grant Ingersoll, and we are going to go over what's new with the forthcoming Lucene 2.9 release that is about to be released any day now, probably tomorrow. So what I have here to start off is a brief agenda of what I'm going to cover. I'm going to go over some general comments about Lucene 2.9, and then we're going to get into some of the technical details about the infrastructure enhancements and some of the speed improvements, as well as take a look at some other features and enhancements along the lines of analysis and geospatial, and then just a range of bug fixes. And then we'll finish up with taking some questions from the audience. To start off, as I said, my name is Grant Ingersoll. I'm a Lucene and Solar committer, have been for quite some time now. I'm also the co-founder of the Apache project, which is a sister project to Lucene focused on machine learning. And I'm also one of the co-founders of Lucid Imagination. Lucid Imagination is uniquely dedicated to Lucene and Solar. We provide support, training, value-add components, as well as services along the lines of design and development. With those introductions out of the way, I'd like to start off with some general comments about 2.9. First and foremost, it is the last minor release before 3.0 comes out. 3.0, we are moving to JDK 1.5. As many of you know, Lucene has been on 1.4, or at least supported 1.4 for quite some time now. Sun has end of life to 1.4. In all practical matters, most people are running on 1.5 or 1.6 as it is now. So what we are saying is we are no longer going to be supporting 1.4 as a platform. Okay. The other part about the moving to between 2.9 and 3.0 is anything that is now deprecated in 2.9 will be removed in 3.0. So in that if you can compile against 2.9 and remove deprecations, you should then be able to have a clear path to go to 3.0. For those of you coming from 2.4.0 or 2.4.1 to the 2.9 release, there's some things that you should know, and most of those are covered in the changes.txt file that is included with the distribution. That will go over some of the issues with backwards and compatibility and some other changes. And of course, you can read the whole list of changes that have occurred between the two releases in there. First and foremost, the primary thing to do is compile. I would say that while most people probably can drop in the 2.9 release, there will be some people who cannot, and so it's better off for your application to make sure that you go through and do the compiling and do your due diligence to make sure everything is up to speed. The other general thing is most applications in most situations should be faster. So everyone should benefit from some of the internal changes that I'm going to talk about in the next few slides. But of course, do your due diligence, take your time, test out what happens when you upgrade your application, and once you've certified it, then you can put it into production. So with that, let's get into a little bit of a background, some brief notes. I'm assuming that most people are familiar with Lucene at this point. This is a somewhat technical talk, so I'm going to give a little bit of background about some of the things I'm going to talk about, but then it also should bring in your knowledge of Lucene into the situation so that you can better understand what I'm talking about. For those of you who are completely new to Lucene, I'll give some resources at the end, and of course I'll put in a plug for some of my colleagues, Eric Hatcher, who is one of the co-authors of Lucene in Action, which is a great place to get started with learning the basics of Lucene. So some quick background. What I'm going to be talking about coming up here is a lot of information around what are called segments. A segment is itself a proper index. In some ways, you could take just a segment and use that and run that as an index as well. So think of it as like a mini index. It stores all the information about terms, positions, what fields and documents are stored. If you want to know more about what a segment is and what goes into the segments in Lucene, you can go follow that link for the file formats there. That is the link for 2.4.1, but as soon as 2.9.0 is officially released, that documentation will be up on the website and you can see it there. Okay. The other key thing to know about is Lucene writes segments incrementally.